The champagne was still bubbling when my husband asked for a divorce. I was 6 months pregnant. It was our 5th anniversary. He called our baby unfortunate timing. But here's what he didn't know. My father is a billionaire who doesn't just get mad. He gets even. Within 24 hours, my dad bought his company. Within 48 hours, my husband was fired from the CEO position he'd spent 10 years building. But that's not even the craziest part. Because when I started digging into why he really left me, I uncovered a conspiracy so twisted, it involved a professional husband destroyer, millions in offshore accounts, and a business partner's revenge plot that had been years in the making. This is the story of how my life exploded, how I almost lost everything, and how I became the woman who rebuilt it all. Stay with me, because this story has more twists than you can imagine. And the ending? Let's just say karma had a CEO position waiting for me. The champagne was still bubbling when my husband asked for a divorce. I was 6 months pregnant. It was our 5th anniversary. And within 24 hours, my billionaire father would buy his company and fire him in front of everyone. But the real revenge? That came from me. My name is Rebecca Brennan, and this is the story of how I went from devastated wife to the woman who rebuilt everything they tried to destroy. Let me take you back to that night. November 1st, Meridian Restaurant in downtown Chicago. The kind of place where you make reservations 6 months in advance and pay $500 per person for a tasting menu you'll barely remember because you're too nervous to actually taste anything. I'd made this reservation back in May, the same table where Graham proposed 5 years earlier. I thought it would be romantic, full circle, the beginning of our next chapter. I wore the emerald silk dress he'd bought me just last month. "You'll look stunning in this," he'd said, handing me the shopping bag with a smile that I'd mistaken for love. Looking back, it was probably guilt. I'd spent 2 hours getting ready, professional blowout, makeup that looked natural but took 45 minutes to perfect. The whole time, my hand kept drifting to my belly. 6 months pregnant, finally pregnant after 2 years of trying. 2 years of IVF treatments and fertility specialists and timed intercourse that felt more like a medical procedure than making love. Hidden in my Chanel purse, another gift from Graham, back when his gifts still meant something, was a pregnancy test wrapped in silver paper. I'd been holding on to it for 3 days, waiting for the perfect moment to tell him. Tonight was supposed to be that moment. Graham arrived 15 minutes late. That should have been my first clue. Graham was never late. He was the kind of man who showed up 10 minutes early to everything, who color-coded his calendar and set 3 alarms for important meetings. But that night he rushed in looking distracted. His tie was slightly crooked. He was wearing a watch I didn't recognize. Expensive, maybe $15,000. And his cologne was different. Not the Tom Ford Oud Wood I'd bought him for Christmas. Something sharper, more aggressive. "Sorry," he said, not looking sorry at all. "Meeting ran late." "It's okay," I lied, because that's what I did back then. I made everything okay. I smoothed over the rough edges. I was the perfect wife. He sat down across from me and immediately pulled out his phone. Checked it, put it face down on the table. It buzzed twice while we looked at the menu. He glanced at it both times but didn't pick it up. The waiter came. We ordered. Graham chose the wine without asking what I wanted, then remembered I couldn't drink and waved it away with an irritated gesture that made the waiter flinch. "Actually, I have something to tell you," I started, hand moving toward my purse where the pregnancy test waited. "No," Graham interrupted. His voice was flat, corporate, the voice he used when he fired people. "Let me go first. Rebecca, we need to talk." The restaurant noise seemed to fade. My ears started ringing. "What?" I managed. "I want a divorce." Long silence. I heard my own heartbeat, counted the seconds. 5, 10, 15. "What?" I said again, because surely I'd misheard. "I've already had Richard draft the papers. You'll receive them Monday." Richard, his lawyer. The papers were already drafted. This wasn't a spontaneous decision. This was planned, calculated. He'd been planning this while I was planning to surprise him with news about our baby. "It's our anniversary," I said stupidly, because my brain couldn't process anything else. "I know. That's why I chose tonight. Clean break. Symbolic. Clean break. Symbolic." He was talking about our marriage like it was a business deal gone south. My hand found my belly without thinking. I'm pregnant. Graham's jaw tightened, the first real emotion I'd seen all evening. But it wasn't joy. It wasn't even surprise. It was annoyance. That's unfortunate timing. 3 words. Unfortunate timing. Our baby, our daughter, the child we'd spent 2 years trying to conceive. The child I'd pumped myself full of hormones for. The child I'd cried over every time the pregnancy test came back negative. Unfortunate timing. Our baby is unfortunate timing? My voice sounded strange, distant, like it belonged to someone else. Don't be dramatic, Rebecca. We'll figure out custody arrangements through our lawyers. You'll be comfortable. I'm not a monster. Then what are you? He checked his phone again, actually picked it up this time and read a text message. His lips twitched, almost a smile, the first smile I'd seen from him in weeks. I'm being honest, he said, putting the phone down. This marriage hasn't worked for a long time. We've been going through the motions. You know it as well as I do. I don't know that. I thought we were building a life, and I need to be honest about something else. There's someone else. The table tilted. I gripped the edge to steady myself. The white tablecloth bunched under my fingers. Her name is Stephanie. She's my executive assistant. We've been seeing each other. Stephanie, his assistant, the one he'd mentioned occasionally. Young, ambitious, always staying late at the office to help with presentations. How long? I whispered. 7 months. I did the math in my head. 7 months, since January, since the company retreat in Cabo, since we'd started the IVF treatments, since I was injecting myself with hormones every morning, trying to get pregnant with his child while he was sleeping with his 26-year-old assistant. Since January, since we started the IVF, since I was pumping myself full of hormones trying to have your baby. It just happened, Rebecca. I didn't plan it, but I can't keep living a lie. He'd been living a lie for 7 months. 7 months of coming home and kissing me goodnight. 7 months of planning for our baby. 7 months of pretending. You've been living a lie for 7 months, I said. What's a few more years? He stood up, straightened his tie with those practiced fingers. The burgundy Tom Ford tie I'd bought him. He was wearing my gift while he destroyed me. I'm sorry you're hurt, but this is better for everyone in the long run. My lawyer will contact yours on Monday. Please don't make this difficult. He pulled out his wallet, placed 5 $100 bills on the table, enough to cover dinner and leave a generous tip, like he was paying me off. Then he walked out. I sat there, frozen. The waiter hovered nearby, not sure what to do. Other diners pretended not to stare. I counted to 60, made myself breathe, in, out, in, out. Then I reached into my purse, unwrapped the pregnancy test from its silver paper, placed it on the table next to the cash, 2 pink lines facing his empty chair. I stood up, straightened my emerald dress, held my head high, walked through a restaurant full of pitying stares with perfect posture. Because Brennan's don't make scenes, I made it to my car. A white Mercedes. Graham had given it to me for our 3rd anniversary. You need something safe for when we have kids, he'd said. I sat in the driver's seat, locked the doors, and finally let myself break. My phone started ringing before I could even catch my breath. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I stared at it through tears. Morgan. My father, Morgan again. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer Morgan's call, but Morgan Sullivan had been my best friend since college. If anyone deserved to know what just happened, it was her. Becca, where are you? I've been trying to reach you for hours. Graham just left me. My voice sounded hollow. Dead. At dinner, on our anniversary. Silence on the other end. Then, oh God, Becca, I need to tell you something. I saw them together, Graham and his assistant Stephanie, last Wednesday at the Regency. They were having lunch and the way he touched her back. I wasn't sure if I should say something. I kept hoping I was wrong. How long have you known? Maybe 3 months. I wanted to be sure before I said anything. I hung up. 3 months. My best friend had known for 3 months and said nothing. Everyone had secrets except me. The phone rang again. My father, this time. Thomas Brennan. Self-made billionaire who'd started with one steel mill in Gary, Indiana, and built an empire of 15 manufacturing companies. Princess, where are you? In my car outside Meridian. Your mother and I are having dinner at the Regency. We just saw Graham with a young woman. Very familiar. Of course they did. The Regency was where Morgan saw them. Where everyone apparently saw them, except stupid, trusting me. I know, Dad, he told me tonight. Her name is Stephanie. She's his assistant. They've been together for 7 months. He wants a divorce. The silence on the other end was absolute. I could hear my father breathing. Controlled. Dangerous. What did you say? I told him I'm pregnant. He said it was unfortunate timing. Stay where you are. His voice went cold, the voice he used right before he destroyed a competitor. I'm coming to you. Do not go home. Do not call him. Do not do anything. Understand? Dad? Rebecca Elizabeth Brennan, stay where you are. Just before I could respond, another call came through. Unknown number. I should have let it go to voicemail, but something made me answer. Mrs. Hartwell, this is Stephanie Marshall, Graham's executive assistant. My entire body went rigid. She had the nerve to call me. I know who you are. I wanted to call you directly, woman to woman. I know this is incredibly difficult, but I felt you deserved to hear the truth from me. The truth. She wanted to tell me the truth about how she'd been sleeping with my husband for 7 months. Graham and I are in love. Really, truly in love. We didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. The connection was undeniable. How long? I asked, even though I already knew. We've been seeing each other since January, since the company retreat in Cabo. I know that coincides with your IVF treatments, and I'm sorry about that timing. You're sorry about the timing? I was shaking now. Not about sleeping with my husband, but about the timing. I understand you're upset, but you can't force someone to stay in a marriage that's already dead. Graham hasn't been happy for a long time. He told me he felt trapped. Trapped. He felt trapped, so he trapped me instead. Got me pregnant while sleeping with her. That's between you and Graham. I'm calling because I don't want this to get ugly. You seem like a nice person. You deserve someone who actually wants to be with you. Let Graham go and we can all move forward. Let him go. Like he was mine to release. Like I had any control over this situation. It's better this way. Trust me. Something in her voice, smug, satisfied. Like she'd won some competition I didn't even know I was in. You have no idea what you've just started, I said quietly. She laughed, actually laughed. I think I do. Goodbye, Rebecca. The call ended. I sat there with my shattered phone screen and my shattered life and made a decision. Graham wanted a clean break? Fine, but he was about to learn that betraying Thomas Brennan's daughter came with consequences. I drove to my parents' estate in Lake Forest. I didn't go home to the house in Huntington Heights. That wasn't home anymore. It was just a building where I'd lived a lie. By the time I arrived, my entire family was assembled in my father's study. Morgan must have called them. Thomas paced like a caged lion. My mother Claire sat on the leather sofa looking sharp as knives despite the late hour. My brother James had his laptop out, already working. Tell me everything, my father said. Every word he said. I recounted the dinner. My voice stayed steady. The shock was wearing off, and something colder was taking its place. That son of a bitch, James muttered. I'm going to kill him. You're not going to kill anyone, my mother's prosecutor voice. We're going to destroy him legally. Morgan? Morgan pulled out her laptop. Illinois is a no-fault divorce state, but that doesn't mean we can't make this painful. He's been committing adultery. That affects spousal support calculations. Rebecca gave up her career as VP of marketing. She was making $180,000 a year. She's entitled to substantial alimony. I don't want his money, I said. You want justice. My father sat across from me. That requires strategy. Tell me about his company. Hartwell Technologies. He founded it 10 years ago with his college roommate Andrew Mitchell. They make enterprise software. Last valuation was $280 million. James looked up from his laptop. I've been tracking them. Good revenue growth, impressive client list. But there are red flags. They're over-leveraged. 40 million in debt that's not disclosed to most investors. They're using money from new funding rounds to cover operating expenses. It looks successful on paper, but it's a house of cards. Ownership structure? My father asked. Graham owns 40%. Andrew Mitchell owns 40%. The remaining 20% is split among 7 early-stage investors. My father leaned back. I could see his mind calculating. So, if someone acquired just 11% of the company, they'd have controlling interest over Graham. Theoretically, yes, but those early investors are loyal. Everyone has a price, my father smiled. Not warm, predatory. I just need to find out what theirs is. Dad, what are you thinking? I'm thinking your husband made a catastrophic error in judgment. He humiliated a Brennan. We don't forgive that. We end it. By Monday morning, I'm going to own enough of that company to fire him from the CEO position he spent 10 years building. You can acquire that much equity in 48 hours? I've bought companies in 24 hours when I needed to. This is personal. I'll do it in 12. I looked at my father, at my mother, at my brother and my best friend, all of them ready to go to war for me. I want to be there, I said. When you fire him, I want him to see my face. Are you sure it's going to be ugly? He called our daughter unfortunate timing. I'm sure. My mother stood. Then we have 60 hours. Let's get to work. They sent me home to the marital house with Morgan. Find evidence, my father had said. Emails, texts, anything that shows what he's been doing. The house was dark when we arrived. Graham's Porsche was gone. He was with her, celebrating his freedom. Are you going to be okay going in alone? Morgan asked. I unbuckled my seatbelt. I'm not alone anymore. I have my family. I have you. And I have 3 months to prepare for the most important thing in my life. I touched my belly. Graham can celebrate all he wants. By Monday, his whole world is going to collapse. I walked into the dark house, stood in the foyer where we used to kiss goodnight, looked at the staircase where we'd planned to photograph our daughter every birthday. All of it was a fiction. I climbed the stairs to Graham's office. The door was unlocked. His computer was still on, either arrogant or careless, or maybe he wanted me to find it. I sat in his leather chair, opened his email, and started reading. 7 months of emails from Stephanie Marshall. Color-coded red for important. 143 messages chronicling a love affair that destroyed my marriage. I thought I'd cry reading them. But I didn't. Because somewhere between the restaurant and this moment, something in me had changed. I stopped being Graham Hartwell's wife, and I started being Thomas Brennan's daughter. And Brennans don't break. We break others. I spent all night in Graham's office reading emails that destroyed what was left of my illusions. The first email was dated January 17th, just 3 days after the Cabo retreat where this all began. Graham, I can't stop thinking about what happened in Cabo. I know we said it was a one-time thing, but I've never felt a connection like that before. Can we talk? Alone? Signed S. Stephanie Marshall, his executive assistant, who I'd met exactly twice. Young, pretty, ambitious. The kind of woman I used to be before I gave up my career to support my husband's dreams. I kept reading, watched their relationship develop in real time through carefully crafted emails. January 22nd. I understand if you need space, but I need you to know I don't regret it. Not for a second. You make me feel seen in a way I've never experienced. January 29th. Graham's response. We need to be careful. What happened in Cabo was incredible, but we worked together. This is complicated. Give me some time to think. The emails escalated through February. Valentine's Day hit me especially hard. Watching you give your wife flowers today was harder than I expected. I know I have no right to feel this way, but I do. I'm falling for you, Graham, and I think you're falling for me too. I remembered that Valentine's Day. Graham brought me roses, took me to dinner at that French place I loved. I thought it was romantic. It was guilt, March. I can't keep doing this, lying to Rebecca, sneaking around, but I also can't stop thinking about you. I don't know what to do. Stephanie's response. What if you just told her the truth, that you're not happy, that you haven't been for a while? She deserves honesty, doesn't she? And we deserve a chance to see what this could be. Then April, the month the IVF finally worked. The IVF worked. She's pregnant. I don't know how to feel. This changes everything. Stephanie's reply came 2 hours later. Does it, though? Change everything? You were unhappy before she got pregnant. A baby doesn't fix a broken marriage. It just traps you in it for 18 more years. Think about what you want, Graham. Not what everyone expects. What do you want? My hands shook. I kept reading through tears I didn't remember crying. May, I'm gonna tell her. I don't know when or how, but I can't keep living like this. You're right, a baby doesn't fix us. I want to be with you, really be with you. October 15th, 2 weeks ago. Your anniversary is coming up, November 1st. That's when you should do it. It's poetic. End the marriage on the day it began. Clean break. Then we can finally stop hiding. I love you. She'd planned it. The anniversary divorce wasn't Graham's idea, it was hers. But reading through all the emails, I noticed something strange. Stephanie always initiated. Graham always hesitated. She always had the perfect response to push him further. It wasn't a love affair. It was a campaign. I opened a new browser tab, searched for Stephanie Marshall on LinkedIn, executive assistant at Hartwell Technologies, 14 months. Before that, executive assistant at Mitchell Capital, 6 months. Mitchell Capital, Andrew Mitchell, Graham's business partner. Stephanie had worked for Andrew before working for Graham. I kept scrolling. TechWave Industries, 11 months. Mercer and Stone Consulting, 9 months. 4 jobs in 4 years. Average tenure 10 months. All executive assistant positions. All at CEO level. I Googled each company. TechWave, CEO resigned amid scandal 2 years ago. Mercer and Stone, senior partner that stepped down after allegations of impropriety 3 years ago. A pattern. Stephanie worked somewhere for 10 to 14 months, and CEO had a scandal, company imploded or got sold. Stephanie moved to the next job. She'd done this before. My phone rang, Morgan calling. I found something, I said, and it's bigger than an affair. By Saturday morning, my family had transformed my father's study into a war room. Whiteboards covered with notes, laptops everywhere, coffee and bagels from my favorite bakery. I showed them what I'd found. Stephanie's employment history, the pattern of destroyed companies. She's a professional destroyer, James said. But destroyer for whom? Morgan asked. Herself, or is someone hiring her? Look at this. I pulled up my research. Every single job she's had was at a company connected to Andrew Mitchell. TechWave Industries received venture capital from Mitchell, Capital Fund 2. Mercer and Stone Consulting, Andrew Mitchell was on their advisory board. Hartwell Technologies, Andrew owns 40%. She's not just Graham's mistress, James said slowly. She's Andrew's weapon. But why would Andrew want to destroy his own business partner? I asked. I don't know yet, my father said, but we're going to find out. Against everyone's advice, I insisted on surveilling Stephanie myself that afternoon. You're 6 months pregnant, Morgan protested, which is exactly why no one will suspect me. I look like a tired pregnant woman getting coffee. I'm invisible. I parked across from Stephanie's apartment building, expensive high-rise in River North, far nicer than an executive assistant should afford on $65,000 a year. 9:30 a.m., Graham's Porsche pulled into the garage. I took photos. 11 a.m., Graham left looking disheveled but happy. 11:45, different car pulled up. Black Range Rover, a man got out. 40s, well-dressed, confident. I zoomed in with my phone camera. It was Andrew Mitchell, Graham's business partner and best friend. He entered the building. 12:15. Through my binoculars, thank you, Dad, for thinking of everything. I watched through Stephanie's 15th floor window. Andrew and Stephanie, talking, then kissing. Not a friendly kiss, a we've done this before kiss. My breath caught. Stephanie wasn't just sleeping with Graham. She was still sleeping with Andrew. They were working together. But why? I followed Andrew when he left. He drove to Mitchell Capital offices in the Loop. I took more photos, then called James. I need you to pull Andrew Mitchell's financial records. Everything you can find. There's something here. I can feel it. That afternoon, I made another decision. I was tired of being reactive. Time to control the narrative. I called Jennifer Walsh, senior writer at Businessweek who'd profiled me 6 years ago when I was VP of Marketing, before I gave it all up. Jennifer, it's Rebecca Brennan. Do you have time for an interview? Rebecca, it's been years. What's this about? My husband, Graham Hartwell, CEO of Hartwell Technologies, asked me for a divorce last night on our 5th anniversary, while I'm 6 months pregnant, because he's been having an affair with his 26-year-old assistant for 7 months. Sharp intake of breath. Oh my God. I want to tell my side before he controls the narrative. I can have this published by tonight. Can you send me evidence? I'll send you everything. The article dropped at 8 p.m. Saturday. The headline was devastating. Tech CEO abandons pregnant wife on 5th anniversary for young assistant, an American dream turned nightmare. Jennifer had done her job well. Timeline of the affair, quotes from me about giving up my career, the anniversary dinner details, the unfortunate timing quote, photos of us from happier times, the closing line, I'm preparing to be a single mother and he's preparing for his next chapter. I suppose that tells you everything you need to know about our marriage. Twitter exploded. Team Rebecca trended nationally. Graham Hartwell is trash trended in Chicago. Hartwell Technologies stock dropped 12% in after-hours trading. I watched it unfold from my parents' guest room. Morgan brought me sparkling cider since I couldn't drink wine. Look at this, she said, scrolling through comments. The world is on your side. James checked his phone. Graham's phone is melting. His mother just called him. His college friends are texting. Everyone wants to know if it's true. My father entered. The investors are spooked. 3 of them just called me. They're ready to talk about selling their shares. We're winning, I said. My mother looked at me sharply. Don't celebrate yet. Graham will fight back. She was right. At 10 p.m., Stephanie posted to Instagram, photo of her looking vulnerable. No makeup, messy bun. The caption made my blood run cold. I never wanted to be part of a story like this, but I need to share my truth. Yes, Graham and I are in a relationship. Yes, he was married. But what the media isn't telling you is the full context. Graham is my boss. He's 37. I'm 26. He's a multi-millionaire CEO. I'm his assistant making $65,000 a year. When your boss pursues you, when he tells you that you're special, when he uses his position of power to make you feel like you can't say no, is that really consent? Or is that coercion? I'm not saying I'm blameless, but I am saying the power dynamic made this relationship complicated from the start. I'm speaking with my attorney about potential workplace harassment because women in my position deserve better than to be called homewreckers when we're actually victims. The comments flipped instantly. Wait, he's her boss? This is workplace harassment, not an affair. We're blaming the 26-year-old assistant instead of the powerful CEO? Twitter reversed course. Team Rebecca got ratioed by Protect Stephanie. Think pieces published within hours about why we need to stop blaming the other woman. The narrative shifted. Graham was now the predator. Stephanie was the victim. I watched my victory crumble. She planned this, I said, voice shaking. She knew I'd go public. She was ready. Morgan looked stricken. Emails can be interpreted a lot of ways. A young woman reaching out to her powerful boss? Defense will argue that's not seduction. That's survival instinct in a hostile workplace. My father's face was grim. This is bad. If there's an official harassment investigation, the board might protect Graham. Circle the wagons. Stephanie posted a follow-up story an hour later. To the woman calling herself Team Rebecca and sending me death threats, I hope you never find yourself in a position where you can't say no to your boss. I hope you never have to choose between your kitty and your dignity. And I hope someday you learn that women tearing down other women is exactly what patriarchy wants. I forgive you. I threw my phone across the room. The baby kicked hard, insistent, reminding me what was at stake. Your father is a cheater, I whispered to my belly. The woman he cheated with is a liar, and everyone believes her instead of me. But I'm not done, not even close, because she made one mistake. She assumed I'd stay down, and Brennan women don't stay down. We get even. Sunday morning, I woke to 67 missed calls, 234 text messages, 1,847 Instagram notifications. Someone had leaked my personal cell phone number. The voicemails were brutal. You're a privileged bitch of protecting your wallet. You should be ashamed. Rich white women always blame the young woman instead of their trash husbands. I hope your baby never has to see what kind of woman her mother is. I scrolled through texts from unknown numbers. Gold digger, you're complicit in workplace harassment culture. Die. Morgan burst into the guest room. Don't read those. Becca, don't. Too late. I was reading them all. Every hateful word, every accusation, every threat. On Twitter, someone had created a thread. Why Rebecca Hartwell is the real villain, here, a deep dive. It had 45,000 likes and claimed I'd forced Graham to marry me, baby-trapped him with IVF, knew about the affair and weaponized it. At 9 a.m. the doorbell rang. My father answered it and slammed the door immediately. Reporters, he said, cameras, microphones, news vans parked on the street. Where am I supposed to go? I asked. They know where I live. They know where you live. The lake house, my mother said. It's under my maiden name. They won't find you there. We were halfway there when I started having contractions. Not Braxton Hicks, real contractions. 7 minutes apart. Breathe, sweetheart, my mother said from the driver's seat. Just breathe. I can't lose this baby. She's all I have left. You're not going to lose her. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Emergency room. Dr. Patel examined me with gentle hands and a worried expression. You're having stress-induced contractions. The baby is fine, but you're at 28 weeks. If you go into actual labor now, there could be serious complications. What do I do? Bed rest, immediately. No stress, no physical activity. Your body is telling you to stop. I can't stop. I'm in the middle of, Miss Brennan, I'm not asking. If you want this baby to survive, you need to rest, today. Hospital room, monitors beeping, IV in my arm. My father sat beside me looking older than I'd ever seen him. 2 of the investors backed out, he said quietly. They don't want to be associated with what they're calling a wealthy family's revenge plot against a harassment victim. So we lost? Not yet, but I can't get controlling interest without those 2 investors. We're at 48%. We need 51. What about the board meeting tomorrow? I can call for it, but without controlling interest, I can't fire Graham. Best case, I can raise questions about his judgment. Worst case, they rally around him and push me out entirely. So he wins. My voice broke. After everything, lying, cheating, abandoning his pregnant wife, he wins. We're not done yet. Dad, I'm lying in a hospital bed at risk of premature labor because the stress of fighting him is literally killing me. How are we not done? He was silent for a long moment. Then, there's something I need to tell you, something I should have told you a long time ago. What? Graham didn't just randomly pursue you 7 years ago. I introduced you. The heart rate monitor started beeping faster. What are you talking about? We met at that tech conference. The conference I bought you a ticket to, the conference I suggested you attend, the after party where I happened to know Graham would be. No. I was looking at investing in Hartwell Technologies. Graham was brilliant but needed connections. You were brilliant but single. I thought it was perfect. Business and family aligned. I sat up, ripped off the monitors. You set me up? I introduced you. I didn't force you to marry him. You manipulated me. For 7 years, I thought we had this organic, beautiful love story, and it was arranged? Like I'm some pawn in your business strategy? My mother entered the room. Rebecca! Did you know? I demanded. She hesitated. Yes. Get out. Princess. I said, get out, both of you. You're just as bad as Graham, using me, treating me like property. Security came. My parents left. I lay back down, tears streaming, completely alone. The nurse reattached monitors. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. We need you to calm down. My husband betrayed me. The world thinks I'm a villain, and I just found out my parents arranged my marriage like it's the 1800s. How am I supposed to calm down? I don't know, honey, but for your baby's sake, you need to try. I closed my eyes, hand on belly. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm sorry I brought you into this mess. I'm sorry your family is broken before you're even born. But I promise you something. I'm going to fix this. Not for me, not for them, for you. You deserve better than all of us. At 11 p.m. when I couldn't sleep, I pulled out my laptop, searched for Stephanie Marshall background. Nothing. It was like she didn't exist before 4 years ago. I emailed Jennifer Walsh. I know my story didn't go the way either of us expected, but I need your help. Can you dig into Stephanie Marshall's background? Something is off about her. She's not who she says she is. Response came 30 minutes later. Already started looking. You're right. There's almost nothing on her before 2020. I'll let you know what I find. Stay strong. At midnight, there was a knock on my hospital room door. Morgan with contraband coffee, decaf caramel macchiato. I'm a friend who should have told you about Graham 3 months ago, she said. You were trying to be sure. I get it. I'm not mad at you. Are you mad at your parents? Yes, furious. But also, I don't know. Maybe I always knew something was off about how Graham and I met. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. Morgan sat on the edge of the bed. You want to know what I think? I think you were trying to be what everyone expected. The perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect future mother. But perfect is boring. Perfect is for people who are afraid to be real. The Rebecca I knew in college, she was fierce, she was hungry, she took up space. Maybe this is your chance to be her again. By losing everything, by realizing you never needed any of it in the first place. At 12:30, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Rebecca Brennan? Who is this? My name is Jennifer Marshall. I'm Stephanie's older sister, and I need to talk to you tonight. It's urgent. If you go into that board meeting tomorrow, you're going to make a terrible mistake. My sister isn't who you think she is, and your husband isn't her real target. I'm in the hospital. Then I'll come to you, please. You need to hear this before tomorrow morning. How do I know you're not just another part of her plan? You don't. But ask yourself, what do you have to lose that you haven't already lost? Long pause. Room 412, fourth floor. And if you're lying to me, I swear to God, I'll be there in 20 minutes. At 1 a.m., Jennifer Marshall walked into my hospital room. She looked nothing like Stephanie. Older, exhausted, dressed in jeans and a Northwestern sweatshirt. She carried a manila folder like it contained nuclear codes. Thank you for seeing me, she said. You have 10 minutes. She sat down and opened the folder. 6 years ago, my sister and I lost our parents in a car accident, head-on collision with a drunk driver. They died instantly. Stephanie was 20. I was 36. I became her legal guardian. I'm sorry, but what does this have to do with? Something broke in her after they died. She became different, calculating, cold. She dropped out of Northwestern and started working as an assistant, but not just any assistant. Jennifer slid papers across the hospital tray table. Employment history for Stephanie Marshall. Mercer and Stone Consulting, 2019 to 2020. EO resigned after affair scandal. TechWave Industries, 2020 to 2021. Founder forced out by board. Blue Line Capital, 2021 to 2022. Managing partner stepped down. Hartwell Technologies, 2023 to present. I know, I said. She destroys companies. Not companies, men. Specifically successful men who have something to lose. She seduces them, documents everything, then deploys the evidence strategically to maximum damage. For what? Money? Jennifer slid over another document. Bank statement for a Cayman Islands account. Balance, $4.7 million. How does an executive assistant have $5 million? She doesn't do this alone. She has a partner. Someone who pays her. Andrew Mitchell. Jennifer nodded. Andrew identifies targets. CEOs, founders, men with power he wants to take. Stephanie seduces them, destroys them. Andrew profits from the chaos. But Graham is Andrew's business partner. Why would he? Jennifer slid over the final document. Partnership agreement, page 14, section 8.3. In the event that either partner is terminated for cause relating to moral turpitude, the terminated partner's shares shall be offered to the remaining partner at 50% of fair market value. My mind raced. If Graham gets fired for sexual harassment, Andrew can buy his 40% stake for half price. That's 56 million for shares worth 112 million. Then Andrew sells the company for full value, walks away with close to 200 million. Graham loses everything. Andrew profits. Stephanie gets her fee. Exactly. So the board meeting tomorrow is exactly what they want. Your father fires Graham for moral turpitude. Andrew invokes the clause. Game over. But wait, my father is buying the company. He'll have controlling interest. No, he won't. Those two investors who backed out, Andrew got to them first, offered them a better deal. Your father thinks he has 48%. He actually has 45. Andrew currently controls 52. When your father walks into that board meeting, Andrew is going to fire Graham himself, then buy his shares, then force your father out. Your father thinks he's walking into victory. He's walking into total defeat. The world tilted. Why are you telling me this? Jennifer's voice broke. Because I can't watch my sister destroy another family. Our parents' death broke her, but instead of getting help, she turned into this thing that ruins lives for money. I've tried to stop her. I've begged her to quit. She won't listen to me. So I'm telling you because maybe you can stop this before it's too late. How? The meeting is in 7 hours. Even if I warn my father, what can we do? I don't know, but you're smarter than Stephanie thinks you are. She assumes you're just the crying wife. Prove her wrong. Jennifer stood to leave. Wait, why does she do this? The money can't be the only reason. After our parents died, Stephanie blamed everyone. The drunk driver, the police who didn't catch him sooner, the world for being unfair. She decided that if life was going to be cruel, she'd be crueler. She doesn't destroy men because she hates them. She destroys them because she can. And she's very, very good at it. Jennifer left. I sat alone. 1:30 a.m., board meeting at 8, 6.5 hours, 3 options. Cancel the meeting. Graham wins. Go forward with the meeting. Dad walks into a trap, or find a third option I haven't thought of yet. I texted James. I need you to come to the hospital now. And bring your laptop. We have work to do. 2 a.m., James arrived with laptop, Morgan behind him with coffee and files. We have 6 hours to save Dad and destroy everyone who tried to destroy us, I said. James started to protest. Becca, you're supposed to be resting. I'll rest when I'm dead. Right now I need you to listen. I explained everything Jennifer revealed. Morgan looked sick. Jesus, this is way bigger than we thought. If Andrew controls 52% and Dad only has 45, we can't outvote him, James said. Then we don't try to outvote him. We destroy his credibility before the vote even happens. How? Stephanie and Andrew have been running this scam for years. That means there's a pattern, a trail. We just need to find it and present it at the meeting. James pulled corporate records. Andrew's investment history showed unusual profits from companies right after their CEOs got ousted. TechWave sold for 180 million. Andrew's career made 14.4 million. Blue Line dissolved. Andrew's clients made 22 million. Mercer and Stone taken over. Andrew made 8 million in fees. Total, 44.4 million in consulting fees from companies where Stephanie worked right before they collapsed. That's not proof of conspiracy, Morgan said. He could argue those were legitimate investments. Unless we can prove money went from Andrew to Stephanie. At 3 a.m., I called Naomi Chen, former colleague who now worked in white-collar crime investigation. Naomi, I need a huge favor. I need you to trace payments to an offshore account. Rebecca, that's technically illegal without a warrant. I'm not asking you to hack. I'm asking you to look at public transaction records and see if you can find patterns. Pause. Send me the account number. I'll see what I can find. But this never came from me. 4 a.m., Naomi called back. Rebecca, you're not going to believe this. I can't see individual transactions without subpoena, but I can see the account balance history. That Cayman Islands account shows regular deposits. Same amount every time, $2 million. Deposits made within 30 days of every CEO resignation or firing you sent me. So every time a CEO goes down, Stephanie gets paid $2 million. Looks like it. That's her fee. Can you trace where the money came from? Not without a warrant, but I can tell you this. All payments were routed through a Delaware LLC called Stratford Consulting Partners. James typed furiously, looking up Stratford Consulting Partners. Registered agent is Andrew Mitchell. We had him. 5 a.m. Morgan called her SEC contact. Lisa, it's Morgan Sullivan. Yes, I know it's 5 a.m. Listen, I have evidence of a multi-year securities fraud scheme. No, I'm not joking. How fast can you get to downtown Chicago? Pause. She'll be there. 6 a.m. Final preparations. We need Graham, I said. What? Why would we need Graham? James asked. Because he's the victim here too. He's an idiot and a cheater, but he's not a criminal. If we can show the board that Graham was manipulated as part of a larger conspiracy, we shift the narrative. You want to save him? No, I want to use him. There's a difference. Call him. Tell him to be at that board meeting. Tell him if he wants any chance of salvaging his reputation, he needs to hear what we have to say. 6:30, Dr. Patel returned. Ms. Brennan, you've been awake all night. Your blood pressure is elevated. I know, I'll rest after today, I promise. After today, you might be in premature labor. Then it'll be a hell of a story to tell my daughter someday. I disconnected the monitors, pulled out the IV. I strongly advise against, noted. Can someone bring me my clothes? 7 a.m. I got dressed, maternity jeans, Northwestern sweatshirt, my mother's coat. I looked exhausted, 6 months pregnant, hair in a messy bun, no makeup. I looked like someone who'd been through hell. You ready for this? James asked. No, but I'm doing it anyway. Morgan hesitated. Your dad is going to be at that meeting. Are you ready to see him? I paused. I'm still furious at him, but he's my father and I'm not going to let him walk into a trap. We can deal with family drama after we destroy the people who tried to destroy us. We left the hospital. The sun was rising over Chicago. The board meeting was in 60 minutes. I put my hand on my belly. Okay, baby girl, your mom is about to do something either very brave or very stupid. Either way, you're going to learn that Brennan women don't stay down. We get even. Hartwell Technologies headquarters was gleaming glass and steel, 22 stories in the loop. Conference room A on the 18th floor had floor-to-ceiling windows, mahogany table, leather chairs. We arrived at 7:45. The room was already filling up. Andrew Mitchell looked confident in his expensive suit. Stephanie Marshall sat in the corner taking notes with a slight smile on her face. 7 board members shuffled papers nervously. My father's corporate attorney, Richard Moss, reviewed documents. 7:50. My father walked in like he owned the room. My mother behind him in a Navy suit that meant business. Dad didn't shake Andrew's extended hand. Is it? We'll see, was all he said. 7:55. Graham arrived. He looked terrible. Suit wrinkled, dark circles under his eyes. He sat at the table and wouldn't look at anyone. Board Chairman Douglas Peterson cleared his throat. I believe we're all here. Let's begin. 8 a.m. I walked in. Every head turned. Graham's face went white. Andrew's smile faltered. Stephanie's mask slipped for just a second. Surprise. Sorry I'm late, I said. Traffic was a nightmare. I was flanked by Morgan and James. Behind them, Lisa Chen from the SEC White Collar Division. Douglas stood. Mrs. Hartwell, I don't believe you were invited to this meeting. It's Ms. Brennan now, and I'm here as a representative of Brennan Industries, which your board chairman knows is considering a significant investment in this company. I sat at the table directly across from Stephanie. So, shall we begin? Douglas looked flustered. This emergency session was called to address concerns about leadership and company direction. Mr. Brennan, I believe you requested this meeting. My father stood. I did. As you all know, I've been in negotiations to acquire a controlling stake in Hartwell Technologies. Those negotiations were motivated by concerns about CEO judgment and company stability. I'm prepared to invest $150 million for a 51% controlling interest. Andrew interrupted. Before we get to that, I think the board needs to hear about some new developments. Over the past week, serious allegations have emerged regarding Graham Hartwell's conduct, specifically allegations of workplace harassment involving a subordinate employee. He gestured to Stephanie. Ms. Marshall has provided documentation of a sustained pattern of inappropriate behavior by the CEO. Under our company bylaws, the board has a fiduciary duty to act on credible harassment allegations. I move that we terminate Graham Hartwell for cause effective immediately. Graham stood. That's not what happened. The emails speak for themselves, Graham. Stephanie stood, voice shaking with fake emotion. I did not want to do this publicly, but I can't stay silent anymore. She walked to the front and connected her laptop to the projector. Graham Hartwell pursued me for months. As my boss, I felt unable to refuse his advances. She showed emails, the same ones I'd found but strategically edited to remove context. He told me he would leave his wife. He promised me a promotion. He said I was special. When I tried to end it, he threatened my career. Fake tears. Perfect delivery. I am 26 years old. He's a 37-year-old millionaire CEO. How was I supposed to say no? The board members murmured. Several looked sympathetic. One whispered, we can't ignore this. Liability issues. Douglas looked grim. This is deeply troubling. Mr. Hartwell, how do you respond? Graham's voice was defeated. It wasn't like that, but I don't expect you to believe me. I stood. Before you vote, there's something else the board needs to know. Andrew tried to interrupt. Ms. Brennan, with all respect, this doesn't concern. It concerns everyone in this room because what you're watching isn't a harassment case. It's a and you're the marks. I connected my laptop to the projector. First slide, Stephanie's employment history. 6 companies in 6 years. Every CEO fired, resigned, or forced out. Every company sold or dissolved within 6 months. Stephanie Marshall has done this before, 5 times. Every single time a CEO falls and a company collapses. Stephanie started to protest. That's a coincidence. Is it? Second slide, the payments, offshore account, balance history, $2 million deposits after each CEO falls. This is Ms. Marshall's Cayman Islands bank account. Notice a pattern? Every time a CEO is destroyed, she gets paid $2 million. Andrew stood. How did you get access to private financial? I didn't, but the SEC did. Lisa Chen stood. Special Agent Lisa Chen, Securities and Exchange Commission. Ms. Brennan provided us with evidence of a multi-year securities fraud scheme. We've obtained warrants for financial records in what we found is comprehensive. Third slide, the connection. Payments to Stephanie's account traced to Stratford Consulting Partners. Registered agent, Andrew Mitchell. Andrew has been running this operation for years. He identifies companies he wants to acquire, sends Stephanie to destroy the leadership, then profits from the chaos. Andrew's face went white. This is absurd. I've never heard of Stratford. Lisa cut him off. Mr. Mitchell, you're the registered agent. Your signature is on the incorporation documents. Fourth slide, the Hartwell Plan, partnership agreement, moral turpitude clause. If Graham is fired for cause, Andrew buys his shares for 50% of value. Graham was never Stephanie's real target. He was Andrew's target. The plan was simple. Seduce Graham, document everything, get him fired for harassment. Andrew invokes the partnership clause, buys Graham's 40% for half price, then sells the company. Andrew walks away with $200 million. Stephanie gets her $2 million fee, and Graham loses everything. The room exploded, board members shouting questions. Graham turned to Andrew with betrayal written all over his face. Is it true? Were you using Stephanie to destroy me? Andrew tried to deny it, but Stephanie laughed. Her mask dropped completely. No more tears, no more vulnerable girl act. Oh, shut up, Andrew. It's over. Everyone turned to her. Yes, I seduced Graham. Yes, Andrew paid me. Yes, we've done this 5 times before. And you know what? We would have gotten away with it if this bitch hadn't stuck her nose where it doesn't belong. She pointed at me. I smiled. Oops. You think you're so smart, Stephanie hissed, coming in here with your spreadsheets and your SEC agent? But you have no idea what you've done. Andrew and I, we're not the only ones. There are 6 other teams like us operating in 6 other cities. We've taken down 30 CEOs in the last 4 years. We're a network, and you just painted a target on your back. Lisa spoke calmly. Ms. Marshall, anything you say, Stephanie laughed, can be used against me. Honey, I'm already going to prison. I might as well enjoy this. She turned to Graham. You were so easy. All I had to do was smile and listen and act interested in your boring stories about market disruption. You were desperate for someone to make you feel important. To me, And you, the perfect wife, gave up your career, made yourself small, all to support a man who didn't even like you that much. To my father, and you, Mr. Billionaire, you thought you could swoop in and save the day, but you walked right into our trap because men like you always think you're the smartest person in the room. Andrew tried to stop her. Stephanie, shut up. Why? They already know everything. She turned to the board. Andrew is pathetic. He's been riding Graham's talent for years. He wanted to sell the company 2 years ago. Graham refused. So Andrew hired me to get rid of him. And it would have worked perfectly if Rebecca hadn't figured it out. Lisa nodded to the FBI agents waiting by the door. Miss Marshall, Andrew Mitchell, you're both under arrest. As they handcuffed her, Stephanie was still talking. You know the best part? I don't even regret it. Watching powerful men fall, it's the most fun I've ever had. She stopped at the door, looked at Graham one last time. By the way, I never loved you. I don't even remember your middle name. She laughed as they dragged her away. Andrew was cuffed next. I want my lawyer. Don't say anything. Lisa read him his rights. Mr. Mitchell, you have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it. Silence fell over the conference room. Finally, Douglas spoke. Well, this is unprecedented. My father addressed the board. Gentlemen, I think we can all agree this company needs new leadership. Graham Hartwell is guilty of poor judgment and infidelity, but he's not a criminal. He was manipulated. However, his judgment was compromised. The company needs someone with clearer vision. I'm prepared to move forward with my investment. $150 million for 51% controlling interest. Douglas asked, and what would you do with that control? Fire Graham, install new management, stabilize operations, then in 2 years take the company public or sell it. Graham stood. Everyone looked at him. Wait, I don't want you to save me. I started to speak. Graham, no, let me finish. Rebecca, you just saved me from prison, from total destruction. And the whole time I'm sitting here, all I can think is I'm so sorry. I threw away 7 years. I humiliated you. I called our daughter unfortunate timing. Stephanie's right. I was desperate to feel important, to feel like I was building something that mattered. And I lost the only thing that actually didn't matter. He turned to the board. Thomas is right. I don't have the judgment to run this company. I should step down. I'll sell you my 40% at fair market value. $112 million. You can do whatever you want with the company. I'm done. He walked to me. Can we talk after this? Maybe, someday, but not today. Fair enough. He left. My father looked at the board. Well, gentlemen, shall we vote? 30 minutes later, the meeting was over. My father had bought the company. Graham was out. New CEO would be hired within 60 days. I stood by the window looking out over Chicago. Morgan approached. You did it. You actually did it. We did it. How do you feel? Tired? Pregnant? Like I could sleep for a week? My father approached. Rebecca? I held up my hand. I'm still mad at you. I know. You manipulated me for 7 years. I introduced you to someone I thought would make you happy. I was wrong. You treated me like a business asset. I did, and I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. Long pause. Why did you introduce me to Graham? Because I saw something in him. Ambition, drive. I thought he'd build something great. And did he? He built a company, but he destroyed a marriage. I'll take the company. You deserve better than him. I deserved the truth. You did, and from now on, that's all you'll get from me, the truth even when it's hard. Promise? I promise, I hugged him. Brief but real. I need some time to figure out who I am without being someone's wife or someone's daughter. Take all the time you need, but know this. You're not just my daughter. You're the smartest person I know, and I'm proud of you. My mother joined us. The press is downstairs. They want a statement. About what? About Stephanie's arrest, Andrew's arrest, Graham's resignation. You're at the center of the biggest corporate scandal in Chicago this year. Great, just what I wanted. I'll handle the press, my father offered. No, I will. Downstairs lobby, cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. I stood at a podium 6 months pregnant, exhausted but steady. Mrs. Brennan, how does it feel to have exposed this conspiracy? Exhausting, necessary, and honestly, I wish none of it had happened. Will you be taking a role at Hartwell Technologies now that your father owns it? No, I'm starting my own company. I gave up my career once for a man. I'm not doing it again. What about your husband? Will you reconcile? He's not my husband anymore. Boy, we're getting divorced. He'll have a chance to be in our daughter's life, but that depends entirely on him. Do you have a message for other women who might be going through something similar? I paused, thought about everything I'd been through, everything I'd learned. Yes, if someone betrays you, it's not your fault. You didn't cause it, you didn't deserve it. And if you feel like your life is falling apart, know this. Falling apart is just the beginning of becoming whole. You're stronger than you think, and the people who underestimate you, they're going to regret it. I walked away from the podium. 3 months later, Stephanie Marshall was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for fraud, conspiracy, and embezzlement. Andrew Mitchell got 18 years. Both were appealing, but the evidence was overwhelming. Graham sold his shares to my father for $112 million. After taxes, legal fees, and the divorce settlement, he walked away with about $40 million. He moved to Colorado, started therapy. I got texts from him sometimes asking about the baby, saying he was working on himself. I didn't respond often, but I didn't block him either. My father renamed the company Brennan Hartwell Technologies. He installed a new CEO, a woman actually. The company's stock was up 30%. Morgan made partner at her law firm. James got engaged to a kindergarten teacher named Rachel who made him laugh and didn't care about his money. And me, I was in the beach house at Lake Geneva, our family's vacation home. February, snow falling outside, sitting on the couch with my laptop open working. The screen showed my company website, Brennan Strategic, Marketing and Brand Development, and M&Ns. I'd started my own consulting firm, took on 3 clients in the first month. By month 3, I had 8. Turns out giving up my career for 7 years didn't erase my skills. It just delayed them. I was working from home until the baby came. Then I'd figure out childcare, probably hire a nanny, build a life where work and motherhood didn't have to be enemies. At 8 p.m., the contractions started. I winced, hand on belly. Oh no. I called my mother. Mom, it's time. The hospital, delivery room. Claire drove. Thomas met us there. Morgan rushed in still in her work clothes. James arrived with Rachel bringing flowers. Graham called. Can I be there? I thought about it. No, not yet. Soon, but not yet. 11:47 p.m. Charlotte Claire Brennan was born. 7 pounds, 9 ounces. Healthy. Perfect. I held my daughter, tears streaming. Hi, baby girl. I'm your mom, and I promise you, you're never going to wonder if you were wanted. You're everything. The next morning, Graham texted, Can I meet her? I thought about it, then replied, Supervised visit, 1 hour, tomorrow. Morgan will be there. Graham entered the hospital room the next day. He looked at Charlotte and started crying. She's beautiful. She is. Can I hold her? I hesitated, then nodded. Graham held Charlotte carefully like she might break. Hi, Charlotte. I'm your dad, and I'm so sorry I wasn't better for your mom, but I'm going to try to be better for you. He handed her back to me. Thank you for letting me meet her. You get one chance, Graham. One, if you disappoint her the way you disappointed me, you're done. Forever. I understand. Then show up. Actually show up. Not just when it's convenient. I will. I promise. He left. Morgan looked at me. You okay? Yeah, surprisingly I am. 6 months later, Charlotte was 6 months old, crawling, laughing, perfect. Graham had kept his word. He visited every other weekend. He was consistent. He was trying. We weren't friends. We weren't family. But we were co-parents, and that was enough. Stephanie wrote me a letter from prison. I didn't read it. Burned it instead. Andrew's wife divorced him, took everything that wasn't seized by the government. My father and I were in family therapy. We were working through it. Some days were good. Some days I was still furious. But we were trying. Brennan Strategic now had 12 employees, featured in Adweek, Rising Star of Marketing. Revenue $2.4 million in first year. I'd bought my own apartment, not the marital house, not my parents' gift, my own money, my own choice. 2 bedrooms in Lincoln Park. Nursery painted soft yellow. Photos on the walls of Charlotte, my family, my friends. No photos of Graham. 1 year after that anniversary dinner, found myself back at Meridian Restaurant. Not for a date, for a celebration. Brennan Strategic had just landed its biggest client yet. Fortune 500 company. 7-figure contract. My team of 12 had grown to 25. We'd been featured in Business Week again. This time the headline was, Marketing Maven Makes Triumphant Return. I sat at the bar waiting for Morgan, the same bar where I'd waited for Graham that night. The maitre d' recognized me, looked embarrassed. Ms. Brennan, it's good to see you again. Your usual table? Actually, I'm just meeting a friend at the pub tonight, but thank you. Morgan arrived wearing her new partner suit. Sorry I'm late, client call ran over. No worries, I ordered you a martini. You're a goddess. She sat down and kicked off her heels with a sigh. How's Charlotte? Perfect. Currently with my parents for the evening. Dad's teaching her to play chess. She's 18 months old, but he swears she's a prodigy. Morgan laughed. Of course he does. How are things with them? Better, therapy helps. I understand why they did what they did, even if I don't agree with it. And honestly, if they hadn't introduced me to Graham, I wouldn't have Charlotte. So maybe it worked out the way it was supposed to. That's very zen of you. Or very therapy of me. Either way, I'm past it, mostly. Our drinks arrived. Morgan raised her glass. To new beginnings? To new beginnings. We drank. The restaurant hummed around us. Happy couples celebrating anniversaries, first dates, promotions, life continuing. Have you heard from Graham lately? Well, Morgan asked. He sends child support on time, shows up for his weekends, sends photos from Colorado. He seems genuinely happy. Are you? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I am. I have my own company, my own place, my daughter, my family, my best friend. I'm building something real, something mine, something that can't be taken away because I'm not dependent on anyone else for it. Morgan smiled. Look at you, marketing maven and life philosopher. I learned the hard way, but I learned. We ordered dinner, talked about work, about James's upcoming wedding, about Morgan's new girlfriend who was a surgeon at Northwestern. As we were leaving, the maitre d' stopped me. Mr. Brennan, I wanted to apologize. For that night, we should have done more to help you. You did everything right. Sometimes there's nothing anyone can do except watch, but I appreciate you saying that. You seem well, happy even. I am. Turns out sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is exactly what you needed. Outside, Morgan hugged me goodbye. Same time next month? Absolutely, but maybe somewhere different. I think I've had enough of Meridian for one lifetime. She laughed. Fair enough. I walked to my car. Not the white Mercedes Graham had given me. I'd sold that. Bought myself a Volvo SUV. Safe for Charlotte. Practical. Mine. My phone buzzed. Text from my father. Charlotte beat me at chess. I'm proud but also concerned. Call when you're home. I smiled. Texted back. On my way. Save me some wine. Another text. This one from Graham. Hope you had a good evening. Charlotte asked about you before bed. I read her the book you sent. She loves it. Thanks for being such a good mom to our girl. I stared at the text for a long moment. A year ago, I would have cried reading something like that. Would have felt the loss, the betrayal, the what could have been. Now I just felt grateful. Grateful that Charlotte had a father who was trying. Grateful that we could co-parent without drama. Grateful that I'd survived and thrived. I typed back. Glad she liked it. Give her a kiss from me tomorrow. Sent. I drove home through Chicago streets I knew by heart. Past the coffee shop where I used to meet Morgan in college. Past the building where I'd worked as VP of marketing before I gave it all up. Past all the places that held pieces of my old life. But I wasn't that person anymore. I was someone new. Someone stronger. Someone who'd been broken and rebuilt herself better. My apartment was quiet when I arrived. I poured a glass of wine. Decaf these days. Some habits stuck. Sat on my balcony looking out at the city lights. Pulled out my journal. I'd started keeping one in therapy. Writing down thoughts, feelings, lessons learned. I wrote, 1 year ago, my husband divorced me on our anniversary, told me I was pregnant with unfortunate timing, destroyed everything I thought I knew about my life and myself. If someone had told me then that a year later I'd be grateful for it, I would have thought they were insane. But here I am, grateful, because that night forced me to become someone I'd forgotten I could be. Someone strong enough to fight for herself. Someone smart enough to outmaneuver people who thought I was just a crying wife. Someone capable of building something from nothing. That night was the worst night of my life, but it was also the beginning of my real life, the life I was always meant to have. I just needed to lose everything to find it. I closed the journal, finished my wire 9, checked my phone one more time. Email from a potential client. Subject line, loved your business week profile. Want to discuss a project. I smiled. Tomorrow I'd read it. Tonight I was just going to sit here and enjoy the view. My daughter was safe with her grandparents. My company was thriving. My family was healing. I was building something real. The best revenge isn't destroying the person who hurt you. It's building a life so good that their absence becomes irrelevant. And that's exactly what I'd done. 6 months after that dinner at Meridian, I got an unexpected call. Ms. Brennan, this is Jennifer Marshall, Stephanie's sister. I don't know if you remember me. I remember. How are you? I'm okay. I wanted to let you know Stephanie asked me to give you a message. She wanted to apologize. I was silent for a moment. I don't need her apology. I know, but I think she needs to give it. She's been in therapy, real therapy, dealing with what happened after our parents died. She understands now what she did, how many lives she destroyed. She's not asking for forgiveness. She just wanted you to know she's sorry. Thank you for telling me. How's your daughter? She's perfect. 2 years old now, smart as a whip. I'm glad. You deserved something good after everything. After we hung up, I thought about forgiveness, about apologies, about whether any of it mattered. The truth was Stephanie's apology didn't change anything. She was still in prison. I was still rebuilding my life. The damage was done. But maybe that was okay. Maybe some things don't need to be fixed. They just need to be survived. Later that day, I met with a group of women entrepreneurs. Brennan Strategic was sponsoring a mentorship program for women getting back into the workforce after career breaks. One woman raised her hand. Brennan, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Your Business Week profile mentioned you gave up your career to support your husband's company, then started over after divorce. How did you find the courage to do that? I've been out of work for 5 years raising my kids. I don't know if I can compete anymore. I looked at her, saw myself 3 years ago, scared, uncertain, feeling like I'd lost my edge. Can I tell you what I wish someone had told me? I asked. She nodded. Taking time away doesn't erase your skills. It just delays them. Every skill you built before is still there. You didn't lose it. You just need to dust it off. And honestly, taking time away gives you new skills. Time management, crisis management, the ability to function on no sleep, the ability to negotiate with tiny terrorists who refuse to wear pants. Those are all valuable business skills. The room laughed. But more importantly, I continued, starting over isn't a failure. It's a choice. You're choosing to invest in yourself again. That takes more courage than anything else. So yes, you can compete. You're just competing as a better, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. After the session, several women came up to thank me. One was crying. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that, she said. I've been so scared. My husband left me 6 months ago and I thought my life was over. It's not over, I told her. It's just different. And different can be better if you let it. Morgan texted me later that evening. Saw your mentorship session on Instagram. You're basically Oprah now. How does it feel? I smiled and typed back. It feels good, really good. Because it did. Taking my pain and turning it into something that helped other people. That felt like the most meaningful revenge of all. Not destroying Graham or Stephanie or anyone else. Just building something so good, so helpful, so real, that the betrayal became just a chapter in a much bigger story. Charlotte's third birthday party was at my parents' estate. Graham flew in from Colorado. We'd reached a comfortable rhythm, co-parenting without drama. He was dating someone age-appropriate now, a teacher. She seemed nice. Can I talk to you for a minute? Graham asked during the party. We walked to the garden, away from the noise. I wanted to thank you, he said. For what? For handling everything the way you did, for not turning Charlotte against me, for giving me a chance to be her father even though I didn't deserve it. I didn't do it for you. I did it for her. Every child deserves a chance to know both parents if those parents are willing to show up. I know, but still, thank you. He hesitated, then continued. I also wanted to apologize. Really apologize, not the corporate sorry I gave you that night. A real one. I was selfish and cowardly and cruel. I hurt you in ways I can't take back. I've been in therapy for 2 years trying to understand why I did what I did, why I was so easy to manipulate, why I threw away something good for something that was never real. And what did you learn? That I was so focused on external validation, on being successful, on building something impressive that I forgot to actually live my life, forgot to appreciate what I had. I forgot that success isn't about money or status or Forbes profiles. It's about being the kind of person you're proud of when you look in the mirror. I nodded. That's good. I'm glad you figured that out. Are you happy? He asked. Yeah, I am, Mom. Are you? Getting there. It's a process. It is. We stood there for a moment, two people who used to be married, who created a life together, who destroyed it and rebuilt separately. I'm glad you're happy, he said finally. You deserve it. So do you. Eventually. He smiled. Eventually. That evening after everyone left, I sat on the porch with Charlotte. She was drawing with sidewalk chalk, declaring each scribble a masterpiece. Mama, look. That's beautiful, baby. What is it? I studied the abstract swirls. What is it? It's us, you and me, and Grandpa and Grandma and Uncle James and Auntie Rachel and Auntie Morgan. We're all together. My heart squeezed. That's the best picture I've ever seen. She beamed and went back to drawing. My father came out with 2 glasses of wine, sat beside me. She's something special, he said. She is. You did good, Princess. We all did good. It takes a village. He was quiet for a moment. I've been thinking about something, that night, the anniversary dinner. If I could go back, would I still introduce you to Graham knowing everything that would happen? What's the answer? Yes, because it gave you Charlotte, but also no, because I hate that you had to go through that pain. I've been struggling with that contradiction. Don't, I said. Everything that happened made me who I am now, and I like who I am now better than who I was then. So maybe the pain was necessary. Maybe we don't get to the good stuff without going through the bad stuff first. He squeezed my hand. When did you get so wise? When I didn't have a choice. Later that night, after Charlotte was in bed, I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, pulled up a document I'd been working on for months. A book about everything that happened, about betrayal and revenge and rebuilding, about learning who you are when everything you thought you knew gets stripped. This working title, Unfortunate Timing, How Betrayal Became My Beginning. I'd started writing it as therapy, getting the story out of my head and onto paper. But as I wrote, I realized other people might need to read it, might need to know they weren't alone, that survival was possible, that thriving was possible. I read through the chapters, edited, polished, wrote new sections. The epilogue was still unfinished. I'd been struggling with how to end it, what lesson to leave people with, what wisdom to impart. Then it came to me, the perfect ending. I wrote, if you're reading this because someone you loved betrayed you, I want you to know something. Right now, you probably feel like your life is over, like you'll never be happy again, like the pain will never stop. I felt that way too. But here's what I learned. The pain does stop eventually. And when it does, you'll realize something surprising. You're stronger than you were before, wiser, more resilient, more yourself. Because betrayal has a strange gift hidden in all that pain. It forces you to figure out who you are without the person who betrayed you. It forces you to stand on your own, to build your own life, to become your own person. And when you do that, when you really do the work of becoming whole again, you realize something incredible. You don't need them. You never needed them. You were always enough on your own. You just forgot. So this is my message to you. You're going to be okay. Better than okay. You're going to thrive. It won't happen overnight. It'll take time and work and probably some therapy. But it'll happen. And when it does, when you look back at this moment, you'll realize the worst thing that ever happened to you was actually the beginning of your best life. Trust the process. Trust yourself. And know that falling apart is just the beginning of becoming whole. I saved the document, closed my laptop. My phone buzzes. Text from James. Charlotte left her stuffed bunny at mom and dad's. She okay without it? I smiled, texted back. She's fine. Already asleep. I'll pick it up tomorrow. Another text. This one from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something made me open it. Ms. Brennan, this is Sarah Martinez. You mentored me 6 months ago when I was getting back into the workforce. I wanted to let you know I accepted a position as marketing director at a tech startup. My first day is Monday. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I stared at the text, felt tears prick my eyes. This was what mattered, not the money or the company or the revenge. Helping someone else find their way back to themselves. I typed back, congratulations, Sarah. You earned this. Go show them what you're made of. Sent. I walked to Charlotte's room, watched her sleep, peaceful, safe, loved. You know what, baby girl? I whispered. Your mom had a really bad year once, the worst year of her life. Your dad left us. The world was cruel. Everything fell apart. But that bad year gave me you. And you're the best thing that ever happened to me. To my one. So maybe sometimes the worst things lead to the best things. Maybe that's how life works. Well, she stirred in her sleep, smiled, settled back down. I kissed her forehead, went back to my room, got ready for bed. Tomorrow, Charlotte and I would go to the park. Then we'd have lunch with Morgan and her girlfriend. Then I had a client call in the afternoon. Life. Regular, beautiful, hard-working life. Before I turned off the light, I looked at my reflection in the mirror. Really looked. 35 years old. Single mom. CEO. Survivor. Thriver. I looked like someone who'd been through hell and come out stronger. I looked like someone who'd earned every gray hair and laugh line. I looked like someone who knew exactly who she was, and I looked happy. You did it, I told my reflection. You survived, you rebuilt, you're okay. I turned off the light, climbed into bed, pulled up the covers. My phone buzzed one last time. Text from my father. Proud of you, princess. Always have been, always will be. Love, Dad. I smiled in the darkness, texted back a heart emoji. Then I set my phone on the nightstand, closed my eyes, and slept peacefully for the first time in 3 years. Because I'd learned the most important lesson of all. The best revenge isn't destroying the person who hurt you. It's building a life so full of purpose and meaning and joy that their absence becomes irrelevant. It's becoming so completely yourself that you realize you never needed them to be whole. I was whole. Finally, completely, beautifully whole. And that was the greatest victory of all.